Welcome to the Personal Injury Law Show, viewers. My name's Tony Carbone, personal injury lawyer of 25 years experience. Next to me I've got a young partner of a law firm, Nunzio Tartaglia. How are you, Nunz?
Very good. Yourself, Tony?
Yeah, good, thank you, good. And I've got Don Mafia, transport accident lawyer of many years. How are you, Don?
Good evening, Tony. Good, thank you. Good evening.
Welcome back.
Don?
Thank you. Thanks for having me
Becoming
back.
a regular.
Yes, I am. Quite enjoying it.
So, Tony, what's in the news this week?
There's been a lot of stories about car accidents and the stupidity of the drivers. Look, this is a message I'm going to send for the Transport Accident Commission, our friends down there. I'm sure that they'd be happy for me to say this. It's astounding how many accidents we've seen of late involving multiple people in cars, multiple cars, just plain carelessness and stupidity. Yeah. This first article involves the lady in Rockbank that rolled the four-wheel drive over, and there was 10 kids in the car. And it's just bizarre. You'd think she blew .23 or something.
Right.
And she was unlicensed. It's just extraordinary, the level of stupidity and carelessness on the part of the public.
Yeah.
Don, what's the go in terms of claiming here? Is anyone entitled to anything?
Well, obviously the passengers, the children, will be entitled to benefits under the TAC scheme and possibly a common law claim as well, depending on the severity of their injuries. Unfortunately, the driver is also entitled to some entitlements under the TAC scheme.
You wouldn't think she'll get much.
Well, she'll be entitled under the no-fault scheme, medical expenses. She was unlicensed, Tony, so she wouldn't get her earnings for the first 18 months, but potentially have an entitlement for the second 18 months, and also a lump sum impairment benefit if she sustains a permanent impairment.
Look, there's quite a few articles, and the other one that's really concerning to me is the fact that police, as of August the 5th, they said they expect another 129 more people to die on the roads. Look, let's just heed the warnings. Drinking, driving, speed, carelessness, just stupidity in general. Please pay attention, take care, not only for your safety, but everyone around you, because when you're driving a vehicle, it is a dangerous, as John Carancis would say, it's a dangerous weapon. So let's ensure that, we heed these messages. Don't you think, Nunz?
Oh, look, it's despite all the advertising and marketing spending on this, the stats seem to go up, which is it's sad and it's appalling. And I just hope that sometime it actually seeks through to people.
There seems to be a high level of complacency on our roads, so we should be, start heeding the messages, I think. Look, let's go on to tonight's topic, which is joint illegal enterprise. In simple language, what's that mean?
Well, it generally means where there's two people in cahoots over, in a motor vehicle sense, still in a car, going for a joyride, and being involved in an accident.
But not saying a joint illegal enterprise, it could be two people going to blow up a safe.
Well, look, it could be any type of sort of, I suppose, illegal or criminal activity, but in this case, we're talking about a theft of a car. And
okay. Well, let's go to Miller and Miller. Don, tell us the facts.
Well, Miller and Miller involved a 16-year-old girl at the time of the accident. She was out with her cousins and friends, drinking and trying to get into a nightclub. They weren't able to get to a nightclub. They missed their last train and they didn't have enough money to get into a taxi. So she decided to steal a car and drive home.
How'd she do that, Don?
Look, I don't get to that just details, but I'll tell you what.
Clearly.
So before, when she got in the car, she did the right thing. She asked her older sister to drive, but the older sister was also inebriated, and she said no. So the 16-year-old took it upon herself to drive. And as she's driving out of the car park, she sees her uncle, who's 27 years of age. He's also inebriated and has had a big night with a bunch of friends, and he decides to jump in the car and drive. So she moves over to the passenger side. He had 4 friends with him, so the total occupants in the car ended up to be 9. And their intentions were just driving home. At the start, he was driving reasonably safe, and then he started being a bit silly, driving fast,
a bit, perhaps.
probably. In the judgment, in the High Court judgment, there was reference to actually he was having a fight with another occupant at the time. They didn't go into much detail about that. But eventually what happened was he started to drive up, speed up. She said on 2 occasions, let me out, let me out. He said no, 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 and lost control of the car and hit a pole. Unfortunately for the plaintiff, Tony, she became a tetraplegic or quadriplegic.
Which is very, very nasty. And you just should have been a quadriplegic.
Yes, yep. And one of the passengers actually died as well in the accident.
Don, can I stop you there for a minute?
Sure.
So, viewers, the topic is, should the tetraplegic be entitled to compensation? That's what this is all about. What do you reckon, Nuns?
Personally, Tony, I would say I don't think so, because they decided to steal a car. And despite her protestations of letting me out twice, They were in the process of, they stole a car and it was an illegal act. And I can't see why she should seek compensation for that.
But if she wants to get out of a car because this uncle's behaving badly,
Yeah.
what does she do? She bolt him in the head and cause an
Look,
accident? What do you do? How do you get out of the car?
I understand that, Tony, but at the same time, she knew that her cousin was, I think, over the legal limit. Was he unlicensed?
He was unlicensed.
Unlicensed.
As well.
Look, she took a big risk in getting into
Yeah, but
that
she was
car.
also been drinking herself, so probably couldn't make a determination of the state of
Oh, look,
intoxication
that's a fact, and she's only 16, so that's got to be a consideration as well.
That's right. I mean, the courts generally do say if there's illegal activity involved, there is no duty of care owed.
Well, as a general rule, you know, I mean, the old cases used to say, let's say you both go to rob a safe and you blow each other up. I mean, what's the standard of care of a safe cracker? You know, set the timer right. I mean, it's just bizarre. So I can understand why you wouldn't be covering people in those circumstances. But look, we're in the motor vehicle sphere here.
Yes.
And you've got a situation where she wanted to get out of a car. Her protestations, let me out, didn't take any notice of that. What happened, Don?
Well, in first instance, she was successful. It was appealed. This is a Western Australian case, appealed to Court of Appeal in Western Australia, and there says no duty of care owed. So I went to the High Court. High Court considered all those the evidence, the law relevant to this area of law, and actually said that she could recover some damages.
So they thought that she'd withdrawn from the illegal enterprise.
Well, exactly right. So initially, she's part of a joint illegal enterprise, but then by reason of her asking to get out of the vehicle, she's no longer part of that joint.
Chain. That broke it.
That's right.
That's when the duty started.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I've had cases like that, by the way. I've done a couple in my career where people that have been in cars and said, I want to get out, and we've got compensation for it. Yeah.
Well, in this case, the High Court said, well, look, they don't want to go against, I guess, they don't want to negate the existence of a duty of care between the participant, which it really depends on the statutory purpose of the offence they've committed. So in other words, if they're committed an offence under the criminal law, they don't really want to go against that where the purpose of that criminal law is to negate or to reduce the duty of care. In this case, they said because she requested to get out of the car a couple of times, like I said, broke the chain of causation, and that's why she could recover.
Her damage was significantly reduced.
Look, the High Court didn't really go into those details. It wasn't on appeal at that point, but I would suspect it so.
Yeah, I thought she lost about 40-50%. Anyway, look, we'll have to come. Viewers, don't go away. We've got to go to a sponsors break, so please stay tuned. Thank you.